for that man grind. Oh, no one cares.
We ready to roll, yeah?
Don't
Yeah.
trip, my guys.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Okay, let's go.
Hey man, you thought I stupid for a wise man. For know it all like yourself, you should have known better, should have covered our tracks. Hey man, you thought I stupid for a wise man. Go ahead and try me, go ahead and try me, go ahead and try me, go ahead and try me.
Three boys, double bass, guitar.
Mmm. What's happening?
Mm.
Listen, gentlemen, what's happening?
What's popping? What's popping? Welcome everyone to Don't Trip. This is a grown folks podcast. Grown opinions sometimes sound like we're arguing, but we're definitely debating. Just passionate and raised volume. That's all it is. I am JR, and I'm will introduce the rest of the man them on the show today. I'm gonna start different order. So, Cairo, big up yourself.
Yes, big up everyone. Just watching this mad football going on. Yay! Don't trip. Let's go.
Yeah. And then we got Tiny.
Blessings, Kings. Tiny the Godfather. Done already. Man, you all day.
Sorry to hear that. And then we have Trimzini.
Yep. What's happening, peeps? Hope everyone is good. Halfway through the week. And yeah, let's have some fun. Enjoy the show.
Wicked. All right. So, first things first. Nearly every show we start off with a roundup of the most recent results. So let's have a quick look at the most recent results. So, in a unique fashion, which happens seldom, but from time to time, we started the football week on a Friday, with the first game being Brighton against Chelsea.
Oh,
Which
forgot about that, you know.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is why we do it. As a reminder, Chelsea got 0 goals and Brighton got not one,
Not too.
but 3. So 3-0 to Brighton. Some excellent goals there, especially Matoma's goal. Brilliant goal scored by him. And then Saturday moved on, February 15th, was Leicester versus Arsenal, was the early kickoff, and 2 late goals from Marino really changed the landscape. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I am definitely was scared. I was like, what's going on? But we'll go into that, potentially another time. But man, Trossard and Sterling, what's going on? And then West Ham with another loss at home, even though they got the new manager, Mr. Potter, and they lost 1-0 to Brentford, who don't have a particularly great away record, but well done to them. Fulham beat Nottingham Forest, that team that is pushing for Champions League, where they used to be about 30, 40 years ago. So, let's see whether they can kick on from that loss against Fulham. Aston Villa against Ipswich, 1-1. Interesting game. Relegation team against a team challenging for the Champions League and in the Champions League. But 1-1, Liam Delap scored again. And then a really annoying result. Man City 4, Newcastle 0. It's like Newcastle are such... The reason why they can't win the league is because they're a yo-yo team. They play games where they will slap a team, boom, boom, boom. and then they'll lose at home. Like they literally lost 2 in a row at home. They lost one at home, and they won away, and then they lost at home, and then they won in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal at home convincingly, and then they lose their next game. It's really, really,
Yeah, don't make
really
that
weird.
sense.
Don't make no sense. And then Southampton lost, which is expected, as they always do, against Bournemouth, who are actually a very good squad, so fair enough.
Yeah.
And Crystal Palace lost at home to Everton, the resurgence of Everton. And they might be part of the topic that we're going to really discuss a bit later, because they are coming from a place where they were deducted points. They narrowly missed out on relegation, and now there seems to be a resurgence because Moyes is back. And then it was Liverpool against Wolverhampton, really close game, quality won in the end. And then Tottenham versus Man U, really, I don't know, you tell me. It was a really close game, but 1-0. I don't know how Man United fans feel about that game, whether they felt that they should have got something from it or what. We can talk about that in a second. And then we do have a game that's going on right now, but we won't go into too much. So that is the roundup for the week. Now, before we go on to the next topic, which is the roundup, does anyone have anything particular to say about any of those matches?
Yeah.
No, not really. United game was quite dead. We all know we ain't got no goal scorers. Transfer window, we let a few players go. Yeah, not a surprise to me. We're about Tottenham's level at the moment. So yeah, could have gone anyway.
Well, I mean, Tottenham are 3 places above you, so they are a bit above you at the moment. And Tottenham feel like they can get wins, but they can lose really badly. Like they can win or they can lose. Like they feel they're either or. Personally, anyway.
Yeah, Man United is the same. like
I
said,
don't know if they can think they got wins. I don't know if they can think they can win.
I don't think they can do that. I think they're fighting for wins.
They are on a mad thing.
I think
no, but in terms of like both of the teams, like Tottenham's had loads of defensive injuries, so they're gonna concede goals. That's their problem. United's had a few attacking injuries, and they're the attackers. So getting goals is more of a problem for them.
Do you
big loss?
Yeah, he got injured in that. But do you agree with playing 5 at the back? How do you feel about that?
Manager's decision, innit? That's what he feels
But
best.
for what, as a fan watching and all of that, do you think that that's the way forward, or are you happy with it?
I'm not a fan of defensive football, so
okay.
I think
have to be though.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be. You have to remember Chelsea, right? They won the league playing 3 at the back, right? They won the league. They was playing expansive football. They score goals, right? And I'm going to say what I'm saying. I'm going to segue into the next point. But the way you play, your formation doesn't determine necessarily the results you're going to get. You know, like it's just the way you play within that formation. It's the people you have in that formation. Are you getting the most out of them? And the reason why I want to segue into the next topic, which is the sack watch. All right, and when we
but you didn't let anyone else. You didn't let anyone else.
I want to define sack because people can take it the wrong way. All right, we're talking about someone losing their job. Okay, no, chef. All right, from South Park. We don't need to sing about that. All right. We don't need to sing about nothing to do with that. Okay, thank you very much. All right. We are moving on to sack watch because I'm going to start with a very, a challenging question. Is Amarin, is he in line for the sack? Like, is he like, could he lose a few next games and be sacked? Because if we look at the
No
position,
chance.
No chance.
okay,
I doubt it.
Yeah,
The reason why, let me land. The reason why I don't think, yeah, but it's your team minute, so you can really dive deep into it. But the reason why, hear me out. The reason why I don't think that is because if Man United sack Anarim, yeah, he's gonna go somewhere else and kill it, and they're not gonna get a better manager. I don't think personally.
Not
All right, so
only
So
that.
if they let Anarim. So hear this out. So they let Anarim go. Who comes in? Who potentially? We haven't even heard potential. Well, I haven't currently heard any potential Man United managers to come in. Normally, when that starts happening, you know, when someone's stirring the pot, you start hearing about other managers. And currently, I haven't had anything to do with that. Has anybody else? Hello.
Nope. I
I
haven't.
haven't. Nah.
no, I've not heard it. I've not heard it.
Am
The
I
reason
allowed
why
to
I'm asking
answer?
the question is,
Can I answer?
I'm just gonna explain my reason for the answer, asking the questions, and that
Yeah.
can add maybe to what you're gonna respond. Is that obviously the form is not where it needs to be, right? And when we talk about sack watch, right, sacking of managers, we talk about a lot of managers that are towards the bottom of the league. So is that a possibility, even though they've invested so much? But anyway, continue, Tiny.
Personally, I don't think so. They took this guy when he didn't even want to leave the job he was in. He wanted to wait till the
Yeah.
end of the season. So for them to just dash him away now makes no sense. It's
There,
just as simple as that.
there must be
He
something
said
in
that.
his.
Yeah, he said that.
I think that there's something as well, that there must be something in his contract. Where obviously they can terminate contracts, yes, but I'm pretty sure there must be something where they have to let him land because of yeah.
I think Arteta might be more on sack watch if he doesn't win a trophy this season than
It's possible.
the
Sack or
man.
do you
Just
think sack?
on the cards for it,
Yeah,
because
I
do you
think
get
so.
me?
Are
But
you like,
it's his first season. He didn't have the team from the beginning of the season. These ain't the players that he's even he hasn't even gone into a transfer window looking for players. So there's a lot of stuff. Like I personally gave 10 more opportunity than this, and Man United did as well. I can't see them sacking this season at all.
I mean, you can't compare Ten
Nah.
Hag. I mean, he was never in this position. Like, to be
As
honest,
well.
He put them
sacked
there.
But
managers in
He's
better
put him
positions.
back in it. He's put him back.
no, but
You've
the
sacked
problem
managers
is
in better positions.
the problem is 10 made signings that were terrible, and since 10 going, it's clearing up the issues that's there already.
Yeah,
And
the
He
debris.
won stuff though.
until
He
these
won
things are,
stuff on the way.
yeah, but this
That's
is
what
his first.
saved him.
But the season's not finished. Man United could still win Europa, FA Cup.
You
There's
really
still
put.
trophies that FA
We're
Cup.
not
You
saying
get me?
that you can't,
There's
right?
still competitions that
The
can be
idea,
won. Yeah. Sorry, can I finish? There's still competitions that can be won. So for you to say that 10 done this and done, there's still time. The season's not finished.
No,
We're still in
that's what
competition.
I'm saying. Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
get me?
saying. I'm saying for Amorim, yeah, Ten Hag won stuff and was doing dead, but he won stuff which saved him
Yeah.
his job because FA Cup, he would
okay,
have been gone already. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if he didn't win the one before, he
cool,
would have been gone. So
cool.
that's the only thing
So,
that really saved him. So if Amorim can do that as well, it will help.
so do
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
think that
definitely.
if Ten Hag finished his first season in 8th and won nothing, he would have lost his job?
No.
Oh,
He wouldn't have lost
The
his job.
second, the
No.
second season.
No,
The
he wouldn't
thing,
have lost.
remember when
I don't.
we was at the end of the season, only they were all like, "Oh yeah, he might get sacked. He might get sacked." But then they won the FA Cup, and everyone knew that was going to keep him in job. Well, I knew personally. I'm
In the
saying
first
everyone.
season, he
I
bought him
knew.
a
finished
bit of
third.
time. Yeah.
He finished third. in the
It
first
bought
season.
it bought him time, and then what happened after that was, ooh, when they should have sacked him because they saw where it was going, and then now it put them in a horrible position. They sacked him, had to get someone their job, and he's there, so he don't really give a damn anyway because he said, "I don't even want to come here." Pause. I don't even want to. I don't even want
No,
to. I don't
no
even
one to
want to.
come.
I don't want to. I don't want. I don't want to get it. Now he's here and they're doing bad, and it's like, well, you get me. You forced me to be here. Get me? But it was something that he couldn't turn down because it's Man United. So it's mad
So,
the way it's working out.
And he
Get
could
free
have got it
passes for
right.
freebie,
There
so,
was
and
a
he
so,
could have got it
possibility that
right,
he
but
could have made it work. Yeah.
so
he's getting it
before we
really
move,
wrong. But it's,
before we move off of Man United, right? So what you're saying, in some ways, is that he's unsackable.
This season, he's
uh,
This season,
unsackable.
he's
This
unsackable.
season.
It doesn't matter where he finishes.
yeah, I don't
He's
think he's
unsackable.
sackable.
No, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Unless
Fair enough. Fair enough.
unless Man United get relegated, which I can't see.
But even if they did get relegated, I still don't think it would make a difference because they got relegated. He'll just all right. One season, he's definitely good enough to. He's definitely good enough to manage
No, come
in
on.
The
in the
championship,
We're
championship.
not.
he's
We're
not
not.
gonna do that.
We're not. We're not
But
He's
doing
it's
not.
not gonna
that.
happen.
Man United ain't getting Man United ain't getting relegated. By the way, they're not.
They're
Nah,
not getting
no,
Come
but
on.
the scenario was put forward, or was
If
mentioned.
they got relegated, then I don't think he'll stay. I don't think he'll stay, and I don't think it makes sense for him to stay because
Who
for him
comes
to, he
in?
needs to build a team, and he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the experience to do that in English football yet, and he couldn't do that in the Championship. So it wouldn't make sense for him to be there. So like,
So let's
yeah,
pretend that
Yeah.
hypothetically, if that was to
Uh,
happen, what do you do? What does Man United do if Anarim doesn't do so well? Man United get relegated. Who do they get?
they get Marco Bielsa.
No, nah, bruv. Give it to dude. With what money?
Bro, there's no man.
With
There's
what
no one out
money?
there, innit?
What did you say?
There's no
Did
no
you
one
say
out
give
there
it to
right
who?
now that
But
who
I
you
said
talking about.
Marco Bielsa. Bielsa, he could do that in the Championship.
I said the championship. innit?
That's the hypothetical scenario he just put, right?
Yeah,
But anyway, right? I digress. They're not getting relegated. What the point is that like if I'm saying, I just asked questions, is he unsackable? And you all said yes. Cool. All right. So if we're talking about sack watch, all right, out of
yeah.
all the other managers, who is on sack watch is now Ange out of the weeds.
No.
And
Oh my God.
Can he
He
still
might
get?
be.
I
Yes.
I
Yes, he
don't.
can.
Yeah.
Yes.
I,
I don't.
I
100%.
think I think it's dodge because for some reason I think if they really wanted to, I think they would have already made the decision with him because I think they've already done the worst that they can. If that makes sense. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know if
The
they would.
most
I
Spurs
think
Not right
situation
now.
you
I
could
think
get.
if they was going to decide to, I think it would be done in the summer.
okay, cool. So I think
Because they're already doing absolutely terrible.
It has
So
to be done before.
I think
Because
realistically,
what they're gonna do when they start planning for transfers and that, and it's all this manager thing. That's why people just go, yeah, because then you get the summer window to yourself.
yeah,
Or they have to do a thing where, oh, you pre-agree a manager, so then he's not gonna be there.
yeah, but they also have to have
Then,
a manager available, which will probably happen at
yeah,
the
that's
end.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they're not the type of team that have that kind of pulling power to just go there. What?
No.
That's fire over there. Yeah, real.
Exactly.
so I'm gonna go.
Who else?
Go on. No, I was
Who
gonna
else?
ask a question. I was gonna ask
Sorry,
a
go
question,
on.
right? And I was gonna go back to a point, right? And the point that someone made is that Arteta's more likely to be fired if he doesn't win something. And I just want to
No
remind
way.
everyone
Yeah.
that Arsenal had Wenger and they were okay just because it was in the Champions League, right? So not that we would just be okay with it, but we have owners that are like, okay, cool. If you're not winning, are you making us money? And actually, as an organization, as a brand now, we're very profitable, right? Just because of the culture, the team, and all
Yeah,
these
you
other
lot
kind of
sell a lot of clothes, innit?
so, pardon?
You lot sell a lot of clothes, innit?
They do.
Whatever,
They
right?
market
We are very,
Jamaica.
we're
They
very much
market
a part of
Jamaica. They got like
right?
Jamaican kits and all of that
Right?
stuff.
We're very much a part of the
They're
They don't have
culture,
serious.
any
right?
And
Jamaican.
So,
They got
so what it
one
means,
Links
Jamaican player.
Africa kit. Links
so what
Africa
it
kit.
means, what it
Real.
means is, yeah,
Bro, they were
everything
dropping
that
kits like they were dropping training suits, jackets like
Lad,
mad over the little
the drip
transfer
is
period
dripping. I'm
in
not
Jan.
gonna lie. Sometimes I'm like, oh, could I rock on the road with just the Arsenal drip because it looks mad still.
Yeah.
I can't just walk around looking like Ty. What am I doing?
Oh,
You know
bro,
what I
that
mean? I
guy.
can't do that. You know what I
With the
mean? Just
Arsenal headphones.
for
Oi.
no reason.
He's got
That
Arsenal
guy
bows.
wears that kit.
He's got the
He's
Arsenal.
got
He's got the
Arsenal,
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
he's got Arsenal hat, Arsenal trousers, Arsenal socks, Arsenal jacket, Arsenal bag. He's got Arsenal water bottle, bro. What is wrong with this guy, blood? You know, like he probably rocks that stuff on a night
Grown
out.
man.
On a night out, he's in the Arsenal
He's
kit.
not grown. He's the man.
Yeah,
But he's not. He's very small.
Oh,
yeah. Did I met him before? He's cool. He's
Is
cool.
it?
Like he's
Yeah.
come across cool. Like I met him outside of football, so he was just cool. He was calm. But anyway, I digress. Now the thing is the reason why I don't think Arteta is on that watch is
Yeah.
because I think that they believe in him, and the same way that they'll look around and think, who else are we going to bring in? All right, who's gonna the person that we bring in is
do
going to be
more.
bigger than him and still have to spend more money than him. So actually,
Yeah.
he's close to what we're looking for. We'll stick with him and probably give him one more season, right? Not because
think-
they don't. There's probably other things, and that's why I feel like he's got money in the bank, and because we're likely to finish second in the league, we'll probably get a decent run in the Champions League, finish quarterfinals or something like that, and it'll be like we almost got there. Injuries hit us this season, so they might look at that and think, okay, cool, we'll give you some grace, right? But right, the person that I was going to ask, the question I was going to ask is going back to a team that is used to sacking managers. Is Maresca on sack watch?
Oh.
Is he on sat watch? I don't think he's on sat watch, but he should be. But he's not.
Why do you feel that
Reason
way?
why? Because I just this is just my view as a Chelsea fan. I don't like the way that he's spun it to a point where there's no expectation. That is not what we do. Dude. He's saying the owner said to me that the aim was to be in the Champions League in 2 seasons, not now. I'm thinking, what are you talking about, bro? We're in a title race because of this, and this, and I believe that as well. But it's like they spoke it into existence, which
Bro,
was
manifestation.
annoying. And now look now, getting smacked up. So that's why I feel like maybe he's not on the sat watch where he probably should be, because well, if I was in charge, because of the way he's speaking, it's like you're taking the pressure away, saying, yeah, well, we're not really good anyway, so we're allowed to do shit. We're allowed to do that because we got another. We basically saying, don't worry, we got another season. He's doing a Postecoglou, bruv. He's doing an and. I always win in my second season, or always win a trophy in my third season. Allow it, bruv. Go and win now, because we ain't in nothing right now. And if you win a conference, no one don't care about that. Because if we win, I'm going to get grilled. And if we lose the conference, I'm definitely going to. So it's a lose-lose both ways.
Thank you for the rant.
But the conference is a trophy. So
it is.
It is. And he can add that to his resume with the championship. But we are not Leicester. So real people talk. Not no freaking, yeah, the owner said that we need to be in the Champions League by 2 seasons. What do you mean, bro? Man United are out of the question. That's a big team. They're out of it. That's a big team. This is where you need to be stepping up, taking your points, and then moving on. About 2 seasons to be in the Champions League, not even to win that. To be in the Champions League. Oh my! With five slots, with five, four. Ah, you know what? I'm gonna get stressed out.
It looks like it, but yeah, I think as well. Maresca's gonna have that new manager first year grace as well. I genuinely
Well,
think that
definitely.
the fact
I
that
mean, I don't know, man. You see Chelsea. Chelsea are ruthless, man. Like they're ruthless.
W-
I don't
No,
know.
that's the old.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
that's the Chelsea of
yeah, he's
old,
gone.
bro.
He's
What do you
gone.
mean of old? What last season?
Who with yeah, but that wasn't a long term thing. He signed a for Pochettino was on like what a 3 year contract when we're giving players contracts.
9.
Yeah, but
How does
players
that make
and
sense?
players and managers are different because you sat your managers like nothing, so you don't give them long term contracts. That's the point.
Yeah, nah. But I feel Maresco got I think he got a long term deal, maybe 5 6 years. So if you're it seemed like,
More
in my
stability.
opinion, that it was a stopgap. Can we get Poch in? Because look at the way we sacked Poch. It looked like we was always going to sack him anyway. Because all right, up and coming, you're not really the guy that we want for the project, but you're good enough for now. We won the last like 6 games of the season, and then they was like, well, we
Anyway,
didn't really want you anyway, so we're gonna get this
yeah,
guy.
fair.
Mad. So, realistically, the bottom three managers, the bottom three teams, and the managers of those teams, I don't think that they will get sacked. I think they'll just let them see out the season. It doesn't make sense, and especially with the likes of Leicester hiring Rude. So Southampton changed their manager as well this season. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point of sacking to get another manager?
No, it don't make
Only a
sense.
team like Chelsea would do such
Definitely.
a thing like that.
Yeah, possible.
Other than that, but when we look at the rest of the bottom half of the table, we have West Ham, Man U, Everton, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Brentford, and Brighton. Are there any teams in the bottom half who managers might want to look over their shoulder, taking into consideration that more than half of the managers in the bottom half are new managers to the league or new managers to the team?
Yeah, I think they'll be all right then. I don't think there's going to be much
I don't think.
change, in
Yeah,
my
not many
opinion.
change. Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Plus, the points difference is quite close in around them positions anyway. Like
Yeah,
Everton,
there's
Crystal Palace, and Tottenham are on the same points. Man United's 1 point behind them. West Ham's 2 points behind Man United. Like the points are quite close around all of them. So
there's
can't really see.
between West Ham and Brentford, there's 10 points. So it's not, and West Ham are 16th, and Brentford are 11th. So you have 2 good games, three good games.
So
It could all change.
It's not even 10 points. It's like
So before
7.
we move on,
No, you're right.
Yeah,
It's
go.
not 10 points. Sorry, my bad. I was looking at Brighton. Apologies. It's because
Yeah,
my eyes
7
are not me.
so before we move on,
Yeah.
are there any managers in the top half that are potentially on the sack watch? So Brighton, Villa, Fulham, Newcastle, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Man City, Nottingham, Arsenal, Liverpool. None?
No, none, zero.
Cool. So,
Can't see it.
so if you were to hedge your bets, all right, you get odds of 1,000 to 1.
1,000 to 1.
1,000 to 1. The next manager to get sacked, and you're going to
What
put
team?
a tenner on it. What manager would you think would be the next manager to get sacked?
And
And yeah,
Pep.
Oof.
Pep, bad man.
Wow.
Didn't you
Mad.
see what's it?
Mad.
Pep.
Mad.
You see, the king asking Son about how's the season going. That will get your manager sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
In front of the
Yeah.
king, you know. Oi.
Cool. Cool.
So wild.
All
Cool.
right. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, all right? Which is a topic which seems like it it seems like a boring in topic, but actually it's a very misunderstood and important topic, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to
Yeah.
talk about PSR. Is it a good or a bad thing for the Prem? Like now, just to set the scene of about PSR. Now we're going to explain what PSR is, just so that everybody is aware, understand what it is. PSR is profit and sustainability regulations, and it is used to be essentially known as financial fair play, right? So the aim is to essentially police clubs and their finances and ensure they don't lose too much money, right? Now, Man City, it is connected to Man City, who are obviously in a dire scenario, which isn't about their ability to spend at the moment. But, right, it's because of things like financial fair play that actually is revealing those 115 alleged breaches and all these other things. Now, why it's important for me, and I'm going to set the scene and then I'm going to pose a question, is I actually looked at, clubs that have gone into administration, right?
You looked at what? Sorry, you looked at what?
Clubs that have gone into administration.
Yeah.
Right. And off the top of your head, does anyone know clubs that have been in administration?
Not for a while.
Wimbledon. That's a little while back.
What, in the world or just England?
Man said in the world.
You can talk about the world if you want.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
how
remember
far we're
Wimbledon,
talking.
and then they had to switch
But
to MK
I know
Dons
that
and
wasn't there like a few Italian teams that had an issue and then got relegated all the way down and stuff?
But is that administration where they
that was
actually?
administration. That was for betting. That was for dodgy ref and betting.
yeah, I think Wimbledon, and then they broke into two different teams, MK Dons and something else.
Yeah. So teams that have got into administration include Leeds, Crystal Palace have been in administration, Portsmouth, Wigan, Derby, Bolton, Rangers. Rangers had the struggles and they had to get relegated.
Remember that? That was crazy.
Bro, it was crazy, right? And the reason why, in hindsight, we get it is because
Southampton even.
Exactly.
Remember and Huddersfield?
Is that now I get because some of these clubs have never recovered. Like some of these clubs were in the Prem, and now they're nowhere to be seen. Leeds, it took a very long time for them to come back to the Prem, and now they're struggling to come. They're going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the money management is important. Now, I think, right, the biggest question is, especially as fans, and as Tiny famously says, like, it's not my money. Why do I care? Right? But as fans, like, how much do we understand about PSR? Right? And also, like, how much do you think, like, your club should go out on a limb to go into debt, right, just to win? So, like, obviously you're a fan and you think, all right, cool, I don't care, I just want to win. But if it means it's at the detriment for your future, like, what would you rather build?
Rather win.
Yeah, but that comes with how you run your club.
Yeah.
How you win, the players that you bring in, the endorsements, there's loads of different factors to it, and obviously a lot of it comes from finance.
Yeah. My whole like thing about it is
Listen, my whole
personally,
serious.
personally, it doesn't affect my life, innit? So whatever the club choose to spend or not spend, it's down to the owners and all of that. That the
But
money's
it can,
gonna.
though.
Pardon?
It can affect your life.
No, it can't because I don't play for Man
Yes,
United.
it can.
I
Yes, it
don't.
can. Because if you want to go to a United game, but this whole PSR, but the United game ticket is now too, that is affecting your life because now you can't go see your
Yeah.
team.
No, but I can still watch them on the TV and it's fine. Like the, I'm fine with that. It's not a problem. But
maybe because you're
bro,
in it.
listen. These men have got money and they're not even fixing roofs. So
It's bad.
But
what?
again,
Who am I to
so
care,
so
bro?
put it
They're
like
not even
this, right?
That
spending
is
money on
part
the
of how you
building.
run your club, though, right?
That's part of how you
I
run your
don't run
club
it.
because you decide, do I put 50 million in fixing my stadium? But that means that when it comes to salary, when it comes to budget, and when we look at salaries, I think the top 4 clubs, their salaries are in between anything about 150 million to 200 million a year. That
Yeah.
means that is a few players that you can't sign. So you might be able to finance, oh, do you know what? We can finance a player over this period of time, but I can't pay their salaries, right? So, like PSR plays a massive part in what we do. Now, what I don't fully
Well,
understand,
now it does. But if there wasn't any of this,
Yeah.
teams that got money will just spend what they want. And
Some
like
can.
like like Abramovich, for example, he was in the Prem spending whatever he wants, and he didn't have no issues. Do you get me? So it's just a matter of if your club's got the money or not. And
but,
I get it.
but
It kind of evens the playing field for the lesser teams, in it. Teams with
It
owners
does.
that don't have more
I don't
money and
even
things
think
like
it
that, in it.
does. I think
but
it does.
technically, it doesn't because PSR is about managing loss, all right, and that loss can be connected to what your revenues are. So, as an example, me losing 50 million, but I generate 500 million is different from Ipswich losing 50 million and generating 60 million. All right. So that's why it's different for the smaller clubs. So
You
actually,
get
the
me?
rules are relative. So it makes it even, but it's not even because you're a small club. Right. So the reality is a success will allow for you to say, oh, do you know what? We're in competitions that are going to generate more revenue. We're going to get more sponsorship. We're going to get these things, right? So there's a balance of saying, if we're successful, if we get into the Champions League, we can charge our sponsors more because they're going to be seen more. We're going to see more eyes in different places, etc., etc. But if you don't, that means, so as an example, Man United have a challenge that if you don't finish in the Champions League, there's certain revenues that you won't expect from Adidas coming through yearly. So that means now all of a sudden there could be a whole of 20 million, which is more than the salary expectation for multiple players or one transfer from a small player. So this is where the PSR. So that's why, like, as fans, we have to kind of be like, it's not my house, but I have to understand that, you know what, that someone running the house
The
well,
maintenance.
you know what,
I,
they could have
I get it,
gone
but
out.
I get you, but I don't have to care about that, bro. That's not my problem. These men don't care if my rent's paid or there's food on my table. All I care about is you lot winning the trophy for me, so I can be happy and do all the banter and stuff at the end of the week. I'm not into all of that stuff personally, innit? I
So
do understand it and I get all of that, but for me, I'm all about the football on the pitch. So if it means that you've got to nurture the younger players from the academy and all of that stuff and get them to the level of playing for the first team and all of that stuff to help all of that kind of funding for that stuff. Do what you got to do in it. But I just want to see my team doing well on the pitch and winning.
but what they got to do sometimes is not buy the big players in order to nurture them. I'm not going to buy the big players. That means there's there's a time of pain. There's going to be a growing pain. There's going to be a time where it's like, you know what? The season's a write-off, right? And as much as it's embarrassing, it's a write-off. Because
no, but I'm happy to do that.
I don't think you're happy about it, because when you see your team getting murked, no one's happy about seeing their team getting murked. You'll be like, why didn't we go and buy a striker? Or why did we buy this person?
Vapor, for the last 3 seasons, I've been saying Man United need to get rid of players and not buy. So personally, I'm talking about me. I am happy to see my team make certain changes to sort out the situation that we're in. Do you get me?
I think they're doing that now. It looks like they're doing that now.
And
but you have to take the pinch for that now because you're 15th.
No, but like I'm saying, I haven't been upset about the position that we're in because of getting rid of players and all of this stuff, innit? But I'm more happy that we're moving forward in terms of we're getting rid of players that ain't performing for us. Whether they go on to perform at other clubs and all of that stuff, amazing. I hope all the best for them. But
I heard that Casemiro's trying to stay.
But you know what? Without staying on Man United as a topic, right? It feels like a theme prior to Ten Hag, right? I've heard multiple times this Deadwood needs to go, whether it's Fred, whether it's Tom and I, whether it's this guy, whether it's that guy.
They've gone.
Deadwood, right? So realistically, its manager isn't the problem. If that's the case, it must be a culture within the organization. You've had multiple people actually lead. Like you've had that guy that just left recently, Ashwood. You have the other guy that stepped down a year before. His name slipped my mind. But you've got a new CEO you took from Man City. You've got new ownership or part ownership. Like, is it simply then that the Glazers are ruling everything and that is the reason? When the Glazers took over, Alex Ferguson was still your manager, right? Cool. So why wasn't the Glazers' influence there then? What's the difference?
Ferguson.
So it is the manager, it's the person at the helm that's the most important thing. Like if you was to change one thing,
but wait, the bit that you're forgetting is Ferguson built his team. A lot of these managers.
So it's about spending money on the team, then, right?
It's not necessarily spending money on a team, but building your team. You don't necessarily have to spend money to build a team. Do you get me?
So, but what I'm saying. Sorry, go on.
But in terms of the manager, like I was saying with 10 last season, everyone was saying sack him from before. Yeah, I get it. But until that manager has players that he believes can play his formation, the position, all of that stuff, it makes no sense to blame the manager for having players that can't do what you ask.
Okay, cool. So two things then. If I personally think the worst thing that Man United did was sack Ten Hag. Do you think that Man United should have kept Ten Hag to the end of the season, or do you think it was the right thing to give Anmarin the job, but he just needed money?
No, I think personally, they might as well have just left 10 to the end of the season.
Agreed.
And then let Anmarin take over next season. Then he can have a proper pre-season with the team, all of that stuff, innit?
Sorry, go on.
Man United's decision, innit? They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and that's another reason why, for me, all of this financial stuff, I have no say in it. So I can't care much about it like that. Personally.
Well, it's gonna stay. It's staying.
To be honest, we have no say in anything as a fan.
No,
exactly. So the bit that I'm like wanna be interested in and involved in is the football. So that's all I'm judging on. You get me? Regardless of what you have to do behind the scenes and all that stuff, sponsorships and all of that. amazing. Good luck to you. I hope you get all of the sponsorship and all of the extra money that you need. But just get my players that are on the pitch performing to the best of their ability, please.
But you know what? Everything feeds into that though, and that's the problem, right? If there's one rat in your organization, it's messing up everything, right? It might be that the Glazers don't want to invest, right? And it just means that no one can get the right backing that they need. So they go for players that are kind of there and thereabouts. Or it might be that the training ground is rubbish. It might be that the canteen is rubbish. It might be that there's too much pressure from the media, from the fans, whatever it is, it all kind of feeds into one thing. But as an example, we have examples of clubs that stick within the PSR, all right, and build a good culture. We have examples of managers who focus on their skills, right? We have examples of, teams that do it in a variety of ways. Now, the thing is back to your point, none of us control that. We're not control of who starts. We're not control of even really, if we're not in the stadium and shouting as loud as we can, we don't even control how they play. Do you know what I mean? Like, we literally have no influence outside of being in the stadium and encouraging them or booing them if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to pass it on to Trim before we move on. Like to say, there are teams that have been impacted directly by PSR, in the league, like teams that will be impacted. Even Chelsea somehow kind of found ways to get around it. Well, they're definitely strategically impacted by it because they have to buy young players. They have to keep people on smaller contracts. They have to keep selling players to keep up with the PSR. So, so from your perspective, right? You are looking after the money. Just say you're looking after the money of your club, whatever club it is. Like, are you going to take that risk of investing a lot, knowing that actually it could send you back very far?
But I'm not saying to them to invest in all of these players. At no point, like I've been saying for the last 3 seasons, I've been saying to sell. I haven't been saying to buy. So I get your argument, but I'm not one of those fans that's saying go out and buy a striker, go out and buy a winger.
I'm talking about Amarin. Do we back Amarin? Say, look, there's 400 million. Go and build your team.
Yeah,
and we'll deal with the consequences.
He needs to, like, I have no issue with saying to him, go and buy your team. But I have an issue with having all of these players that he doesn't want still being here while this is happening. You get me?
I kind of sorry. Trim, sorry, you wanted to say something for a while.
No, I was just saying that you were mentioning teams that were affected by it, and I was mentioning that some of the teams that were going to be affected were teams like Aston Villa, Everton, Newcastle, because what's his name? What's Newcastle's manager was explaining that. Yeah, Eddie Howe was talking about how, there are players that they might have to possibly sell. For example, like Isak, to be able to float, to be able to manage and stuff like that. And I think that these are some of the challenges that the teams that, they don't have the same resources as other teams that can just be able to put their hand in their pocket and do what they need to do. So who else is there? There's Everton again. There's Villa that's going to have to be able to do exactly the same thing. It's a challenging situation for some of those teams. Whereas who do you think is a team that actually manages their books really well? Is there any teams that you think, like personally, that you think are going to thrive in this situation with PSR? Vapor.
Exactly. I think there's a few. I think the most obvious is Brighton.
Yes.
And the thing is, and this is where, like, the way that every club is run, everyone has the choice to run it that way. They could run it that way, like, very easily. Like, and Brighton's a good example because they're not a team that's really been in Europe, so they don't have that outlook to say, oh, we're going to get back into Europe. So, we're going to sell this to sponsors. We're going to sell this to teams and players and say, we're in Europe. They're not. Like, they were in Europe for the first time the other season. So their whole scouting system is, around data, which a lot of people have pushed back on. Our data, what's wrong with data? But actually, they're saying it worked well. So I think they're a good example. I think there are other examples like smaller clubs who focus on that. So even like Club Brugge, they sold some players, funny enough, to Atalanta yesterday, and they've gone and beat them. Atalanta do use a scouting system in Italy, and they get a lot of youth come through, and they've got good resources, but they don't have as much resources as a big club. So why, if it's such an obvious thing to do for clubs, why isn't every club doing it? Like, why isn't like Man United investing loads into their training ground? Why aren't they doing the things that these other clubs do with some relative success? I don't know. Like, maybe that will feed into, why clubs are forced to spend more money outside of it, because it's a lot cheaper to invest in your youth. It's a lot cheaper to invest in your
absolutely.
So I'm just trying to understand why we think that they do that, because that's probably some of the biggest impacts of PSR. Sales gone wrong, and players just not performing at the highest level for them to then get into places like Europe. But that's happened to clubs like that weren't in Europe. So I don't know. What do you think?
Kai?
Me personally, I'll just keep it nice and short. There are two things that I don't like about PSR. Number one is that teams are now selling their prospects for this thing that they call pure profit, because you don't pay for them. So whatever you sell is thing. I think that's a whole load of rubbish. It's something that Chelsea have been doing.
Yeah.
It's something that City have done to clear their books, and I think it's unfair because you've got players that have dreamt of playing for that club since young. They've come through the system, and then you're just a piece of money to them, really and truly.
Yeah, meat.
And the
It's like a meat market.
Yeah, second thing that I don't like about PSR is that the tickets and all of that stuff is going through the roof, and it's making football a like endorsement type, rather than the average fan being able to go and see their team, go and watch their team because the ticket's affordable. Now nothing's affordable because it needs to be high priced, because the more money we can make the stadium means that the more revenue we can get to buy players or to do this or to do that. And I think it's unfair in that sense. So those are the two things that I don't like about PSR.
Quick question. Kai, do you have an idea of how much your what a season ticket is or not even that, just for a game at Chelsea? Because I know you go to the games and all of that. So roughly how much is that?
To be honest,
Average
it's
ticket.
almost impossible ticket to go to Chelsea. Let alone if you don't have a season ticket already, or you don't know someone that has one,
Yeah.
you're gonna find it very
It's
difficult
a bump.
to get a ticket. To even find a ticket for any price. So it don't matter. If you get what I'm saying. Because all of those tickets have gone to people who can pay for it, or endorsements or sponsorships or this or that, and it makes the game very different. It takes
Even
the
Man United
emotion
tickets,
out
you
of
have to
it.
be a member. You have to have membership to
Exactly.
even.
Just to even buy one, you have to pay them money, and then that membership fee will go up. The season will go up to buy these things. So that's the bit I don't like, and the selling their academy assets just because.
Imagine
Oh yeah, we have to.
Imagine you just wanna imagine you're a footy fan and you obviously you've got children, and even if you just had the one kid and you wanted your kid to come with you to the game, you could possibly pay an extra, I don't know, £200. Not forget your ticket, but an extra £200 for the year just for your child to be able to come and share that experience with you. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy. If you got two, then what? When you got two kids that want to come and that culture is going to disappear. That bringing your kid to football, and you know what I mean. So kids are going to start resenting their parents because it's going to be like, "Yo, Dad, where you going?" He's like, "I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to go and get a paper." I'm gone. Come back. Yeah, we won. Man's not talking to the dad, you know. Man's like, yeah, fucking PSR. I hate these joypads. But yeah, man.
But cool. So moving on topic to a club that has been impacted by PSR.
Yeah.
A team that I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I don't really like this team. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know. Is it just me? Is like Everton not very likable?
I struggle. I struggle, and they're just 1 kilometer away. Well, they were.
I understand that. But I don't know. I don't like them. I think they're just for the majority of time they've been in the league, they've just been like a rugged team that kind of just force their way to goals. Like they don't really play good football.
They're like school bully a bit sometimes.
Direct. Yeah. Even back in the day when they had Moyes, well, actually,
they still do.
Moyes is back. But yeah, so the Everton resurgence could be linked to the return of the Moyes. Yes, again, return.
Man said Moyes, the Moyes.
No, here I go. You know.
So hold on a minute. So after this whole thing, because obviously they had their last game and they did get a good point against Liverpool the other day, but then they went to the new stadium and I swear, did they lose? Did they actually lose?
It was a kids game or something like that. It was like a
I don't know, but the other team scored first.
Yeah,
that's I don't know what kind of resurgence they're doing.
It was just that. I mean, the youth them allowed them still.
Man.
But the thing is I don't have a problem with the youth. It's the first team I don't like. But to give you an idea of their results, right? So since the 19th of Jan, they beat Tottenham 3-2. They beat Brighton 1-0. They beat Leicester 4-0. They lost in the FA Cup to Bournemouth. They drew with Liverpool 2-2, and they beat Crystal Palace 2-1. All right, that sounds like a resurgence, and it feels like if you look at the results they had before Dyke was sacked, it was very much butcher football, right? So since the 14th of December when they played Arsenal, which was a 0-0, a 0-0 in a game I can't believe it, but it was a 0-0 in a game where they had 0 shots on goal. Like 0 shots on target. 0, absolutely 0 in 90 minutes. 2 shots in total. 2 shots. And 24% possession, right? So that is very, very negative football. And then the next game was against Chelsea, and that was 0-0 as well. And then it was against Man City, and that was 1-1. And then they lost to Nottingham Forest 2-0, and then they lost to Bournemouth 1-0. And then after that, they beat Peterborough, and then they lost to Villa 1-0. So you could see the football was negative, no goals, no options. And now it's looking like it. Now, Everton seem to always go through this every single season when they look like, do you know what, they're going down this season. No. Do you think it will be the new manager bounce, or do you think they'll sustain it? And where do you think they'll finish in the bottom of the table huddle?
I don't know, because I'm looking at it now, and they've actually got the bottom. To be fair, Everton have actually got. They've actually got the best results apart from Liverpool and Arsenal
There
over
you
the
go.
last 5 games.
Crazy.
They've
That's
actually
Absolutely.
got.
form.
They've
Form
actually
team.
got better. They've actually. Sorry, Arsenal. They've got the same result. So Arsenal have four wins and 1 draw, and Everton have 4 wins, 1 draw. They're the 2 teams. They're the 2 teams with the best results at the moment over the last 5 games. Everton and Arsenal. So yeah, you are right. It is a resurgence.
The resurgence. Now,
But
how long?
how long?
Yeah. How long do you think they'll sustain it? And using
It
them
depends
as
on
an
it. All
example.
right, so let's have a look. So let's have it. Results. Excuse me, just trying to see what they got next. Because that could have just been the run. So they've got, oh Lord, could change. Next game they got Man United, then they got Brentford, then they got Wolves, then they got West Ham, then they got Liverpool and Arsenal. Resurgent done. Sorry, just saying. You know, that's
I don't know.
pressure.
I Everton always have little spells where they have a few good games here and there, but I don't.
Can't see it.
Yeah,
Not with those games coming up. They've got United, they've got Brentford. I think they'll lose against Brentford.
but over the last few seasons, well, aside from the deductions and all of that,
Yeah,
they
truth.
they, they had one season where they were kind of pushing for European football and all of that.
Like they're
But
7-8.
apart from that, Everton's like a mid-table team, bro. They're where they
Yeah.
usually are.
And the
They
next one,
always
like I
they
said,
do. They always have this purple patch, though. They do
Yeah,
always have this purple patch because
this
they
isn't
do this
nothing
all
new.
the
I don't
time.
know
But usually it's later in the season when they need it like real bad,
when
and
they.
then they
Yeah,
kick
yeah, yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah,
and then Goodison's going crazy. No
yeah.
one can win there.
Cool.
But yeah, they're
so
Now,
doing they're doing well.
but JR, what do you think? What are your thoughts on it? Do you think that because at this precise moment, yes, it is. But again, like we said, how long will it last? But
I
what are our thoughts? Do we genuinely think that um, within the next 5 games they will still have the same trajectory?
think they'll do well. Like, if we look at their next few games,
Yeah, I just did.
Just did.
um, I'd say they'll get. I think there's a couple of games
They
that might
might
get
get
moved.
1 win.
I think there's a couple of games that might get moved. But I think
That's
we have to
okay
look at
though.
how much.
Getting one
What's
win
that?
for them.
I think so. As an example, right? So if they got Brentford, Wolves, the
Brentford
West
at
Ham
home.
game, right? Brentford, Wolves, and they got the other game. It's going to be
West
moved,
Ham.
which is West Ham. They'll beat Wolves. Brentford, I think they'll. You never know. Like
I'm
the
I'm
way
not
they're
sure if
playing.
they'll beat Wolves. You know.
I don't know if they'll beat Wolves. We got lucky to beat Wolves.
Okay, cool.
Now Wolves
So
are not
Just
that team.
I think they'll be. I think they'll beat Wolves. Like I like Wolves. Remember, Wolves are just back in the relegation battle. They're
Yeah,
very
they
close
are
to
way
like,
Nah,
closer
but
to.
they are
what you're
dead, bro.
forgetting is
They
yeah
can barely.
the beginning
They,
of the season, Wolves had bare injuries and they was getting slapped by everyone. When their players return from injury, they've been actually playing decent and a few unlucky results, I would say for them.
look, I'll be honest with you, right? Even when they at the start of the season, I think they were unlucky, right? But the reality is they're losing, right? They're losing. Wolves are losing, and you know what? Like there are many times that I've watched games, whether it's my own team or other people, and it felt like the team didn't deserve to lose, but they lost. Right? Results are the biggest factor here. Like Wolves can pull off the odd, result,
yeah.
but in general, they're losing. They are losing, and they have they have enough quality in their side to say, do you know what, we're gonna give them a hard game. We've got a couple forwards that are gonna potentially give us something, but defensively, you know what I mean. And if we look at Everton now, they've always been a solid outfit, right? But they managed to get Beto to score. Beto, you know, that guy is terrible. Like, you get it? What?
It depends on how you use him, though. Pause.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I personally think that they will finish like at the top end of the bottom half. I think they'll finish like 11th or 12th.
Wolves.
And if we put no, not Wolves. I think
Who? Everton.
It's stuck where they
I was
are.
gonna say because Wolves have lost 4. They've lost 4-1-1. Wild.
Wolves are stuck because the other thing as well is confidence. They're in their
Yeah,
head.
but they just beat Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And I think they played you lot last, and you lot Liverpool beat them, innit?
Yeah.
So the thing is like, as an example, right? Southampton, they lack quality, right? They lack genuine quality. They'll give you a good goal, but they lack quality. That's why, like, even when I watched the Southampton versus Liverpool game, they got chances, but they
couldn't finish.
Like, it's like, come on, bro. Like, you don't get many chances in Liverpool, and you just blah. Like, it was just, this is no wonder you are where you are. And then, but Wolves has a bit more quality going forward. But I just think that one of the biggest problems that they had is they sold Max Kilman, right? Who was integral to their defense. He was their Connor Cody. Remember when Connor Cody was there, like, he was the leader, he'd win most of the stuff in the air, and he would do that. And they sold someone else, I can't remember. But it just unraveled everything for them.
The Portuguese winger.
Neto, right? And I think it unraveled a lot of stuff for them, like just starting again. So I don't think so. I think they're not going to get relegated because the rest are worse. But yeah, I think Everton will do well. And I think as well, I think Everton is Moyes' level. Like, you know, like a West Ham and Everton, I think that's the levels he shines. Like, as in, you know, a team that's got kind of history, but like he's not a top team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know what I mean? That's why I feel like actually like he'll do well with what he has, and I think that he has a special place for him. It's home for him, so I think he'll do well, and I think he'll do well with the idea that in the next, you know, by the end of the season, he'll get the money he needs to rebuild. So I think he'll do well. I don't think he has pressure. I don't think he has to prove a lot. So I think he'll do well with the team that he has.
Nice. Well, good.
Personally, but yeah, it'll be interesting because that team obviously was impacted by PSR, and they've managed to stay up constantly. But let's see how they build on nearly getting relegated constantly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But cool. All right. So we're gonna look at the final segment before we wrap things up. So the winners and losers for the week. Now, winners and losers for the week. We'll start off with Trimzini. I don't think we normally start off with Trimzini. Trimzini, who are your winners and losers for the week?
Winners for the week. Oh wow. Well, after actually speaking about Everton, I kind of have to say, because if they've got similar stats to Arsenal and better than the league leaders, I have to give the winners to Everton, and the losers. I'm just checking something right now because I want to see what happened. I think the losers have to be Man City. For me, I think the losers have to be Man City. Yeah. I think it's pretty simple. Yeah. And they're fourth in the league as well. So they've just been dumped out of the Champions League. Poor things.
Pumped
And
out as well, convincingly.
yeah. And they're at least what are they? And they're not even 9 points. A lot of points off top spot. So yeah. I'd say Everton is winners, and I'm saying Man City is losers. So Pepsi. Pepsi.
Cool.
Isn't it?
Tiny.
I'm gonna go to the other side of Manchester for the losers. Man United, definitely terrible. I'm sure you'll have a rant from me in the next few weeks.
Why'd you
And
feel that way? What is it? What is it about the? Is it, why'd you feel that way though? Like I know you're saying,
not the Tottenham, bro. We're talking about Spuds.
but to be fair, the game was very even.
Bro, two
yeah.
dead teams. I can't
Yeah.
even hear it, bro. And
Yeah. Should have been a draw.
I thought you lot was gonna win today, Trim. You drew.
Yeah,
Well done, fella.
yeah. They was winning at half time. I was thinking to myself, this could be the one, but yeah, that's what happens. So it's all
Oh,
good.
it was them that was 2-1 up.
They were 2-1 up.
Oh, I thought you lot was. Shame.
Nah.
Okay.
Ollie Watkins scored right at the end of the first half.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't watch none of the game.
So we came. I thought you was watching it.
Nah, I wasn't. Why would I ask you if I'm watching it, you madman?
Yeah, but you said, "Oh, what's the Liverpool score? Quick time!" Like you knew, like you was trying to rub it in or something. Pause. I was like, "What's man saying?"
I don't rub nothing in.
We've gone off the road. We've gone off the road.
But the winners, well, seeing as Liverpool dropped some points, I guess Arsenal are winners this week.
Arsenal winners.
Nice. Cool.
You lot dropped some points, innit?
Yeah.
Winner of the week is going to Mikel Moreno because he
Two
done
as well.
what he needed to
He
do.
scored two
late goals and then number 9, which is not his position in that. So fair enough.
You have to give. You have to give.
And
You
it
have
was
to give.
important
You have to give
with
props.
this Liverpool game, knowing that we now know how it went.
Yeah.
Liverpool have City on the weekend, though.
Could be
important points to pick up. Very important points to pick up.
It's all right, man. City's dead out, man.
Remember, Haaland didn't start today.
You were
De Bruyne
saying it,
didn't
you
start.
know.
So they're gonna play. They're gonna play. No, I
Hey,
know that. I know
remember,
that. I know that.
Don't come in, don't be giving Man City faith now, you know. After you the one that
No,
said, you know.
there's no faith. There's no faith, but they can definitely. I've seen that. I know that because they broke us up. I know
Nah,
that.
bro.
So
We
don't worry
even cut
about.
them in. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
And we're
but
rubbish.
you man got some different. Don't worry, you man got something different for them. But Mikel Marino, definitely he done his thing. And with the Martinelli injury, the second injury, I have to give it to Mikel Marino. And the losers of the week has to go to Chelsea because we got dumped on by Brighton in the FA Cup, and then we got dumped on again in the league, and we're out of all the competitions. So
all the competitions.
We're out of the FA Cup and obviously the Carabao Cup.
Conference League.
Yeah,
So,
that's not all.
Yeah, that except the conference. That's what I said. I don't know if that's
I didn't
out
hear.
of all the competitions except the Conference League, which no one cares about, and I'm getting grilled whether we win it or whether we don't win it. So it don't matter. That's my winners and losers for this week.
Cool. All right, JR, what you telling me, my bro?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. Two things. One, some of you took my winners and losers already, so I've had to kind of think about this because there's multiple people that actually could have been losers, like massive losers. Like, and I'm gonna name some of the losers, but I'm gonna say my overall loser. But name the
Start the top, man.
Bayern Munich. Listen, how
Wow.
are you almost getting taken to extra time by Celtic, right, at home?
Yeah.
Like, what? That is madness. That is absolute madness. And Celtic could have had 3 in the first half.
Wow.
So, like, it's mad. But you know what? They're not going to get it. My losers are Sporting Lisbon, right? Because they've been absolutely atrocious, right? Overall, since they lost Amarin, like, they've been horrible. Like, and they got
Shows
knocked
that
out.
it's a good coach.
They got knocked out of the Champions League, and it was so convincing that they got knocked out. Like, there was just nothing there for them.
Yeah, the second leg they didn't even play their shooter.
Injured.
Yeah. It was mad.
No, he was
mad.
they just didn't
And
play
then-
him. Oh well, from what the commentary was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my winners of the week, it's going to be a player and a club. So my winner of the week is Mbappe, right? He dumped on Man City, got the hat trick, and he's been performing. And you know, like a lot of questions were around him at the start of the season. Is he going to kind of connect and do his thing? And initially there was no connection, but I think Ancelotti's found a way. He's inspired him, and he works for the team, and the team are kind of connecting. So him as an individual, but the club is going to be Club Bruges, because the way they slapped not just in one game. I mean, like, over the 2 legs, they slapped them. So I'll give it to them. They won on 5-2, 5-2 on aggregate. Like, it was mad. It was mad. So enough respect to them, and they're my winners for the week.
Unexpected as well.
Yeah.
Because Atalanta's been on a good run.
What was you gonna say, Kyle?
Who would you what?
I said no, because you said someone took your winners and losers already, so you switched.
Yeah, who were they?
Who were they?
Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah.
Had to be, bro. You don't got slapped up.
You know, you didn't.
Yeah, you didn't. No, bruv, don't do that now, because you didn't give it to us, bruv. Don't do that.
Nah,
You get me?
I gave it to Man U because we lost to Spuds. You see, Spuds, they've been slapping us up for a minute now. I don't even know what this new thing is where we decide that we're gonna just let Spuds slap us up, home, away, whatever it is. Like, yeah, the ultimate bottle jobs, and they just been slapping us up for fun. So yeah, that's why I said Man United. But really, what happened to you, though? Oh.
It was a shock, to be honest. It was quite dominant. It was just like I didn't understand. But
I couldn't understand.
Did you not have no shots on target or something? There was some mad talk I was hearing.
We never have no shots on target, man. We don't shoot, so if we do shoot, we just foreplay,
Welcome
guys.
to my world.
Heavy.
But yes. Anyway, thank you. That brings the show to an end. Thank you very much for taking the time. Thank you for your input. Thank you for everyone listening. Thank you for the network. Hold tight, Comb. Like, the big up Comb, and them man there. So
Full-time Sports Network. All good.
Amen. And that's why I just want to say big up and thank you. And I hope you appreciated what we was discussing. Any comments, feel free to drop us a comment, drop us a message. Happy to hear. But just want to say goodbye. I say my own goodbye. Blessings up and out, everyone.
Peace and hair grease.
Later.
Don't trip on the way out. Hey.
Double Bass Recap.
Heavy. Nice.